Same faces, same places, and new contracts with re-signings, restructures, and extensions. We're going to kind of go through this quickly as the Buffalo Bills have re-signed offensive tackle Deion Dawkins to an extension to a 3-year, $60.5 million extension as he was entering his final year of his contract. They have restructured quarterback Josh Allen's contract as they restructured his 6-year, $258 million contract by converting a chunk of his compensation to a signing bonus, which creates $16.7 million in cap space. The Buffalo can say, "Thanks for your cooperation, Josh," as before the restructure, the Bills had a little over $4 million in estimated cap space, and the restructure creates an estimated $20 million in estimated cap. The New England Patriots, they re-signed wide receiver Kendrick Bourne to a 3-year, $19.5 million deal that is a max value of $33 million. And Bourne's contract includes a $5.5 million in receptions and receiving yard incentives in 2024, and up to $4 million in incentives in each of the following 2 seasons. They have resigned offensive tackle Mike Onwenu to a 3-year, $57 million deal, and includes $38 million guaranteed and a $22.5 million signing bonus. They have also resigned edge Anthony Jennings to a 3-year, $12 million deal with a max value of $24 million. Dolphins left tackle Terron Armstead is expected to make his return, as the veteran is expected to make his return to Miami for the 2024 season, as he and the team are working on the finalization of an adjusted contract. The Ravens are bringing back and re-signing defensive lineman Justin Matabuke on a 4-year, $98 million contract with $75.5 million guaranteed. He initially received the non-exclusive franchise tag. This past season, Matabuke in 17 games had 45 tackles, 27 solo tackles, and 13 sacks. Browns edge rusher Zadarius Smith is coming back on a 2-year, $23.5 million deal that has a max value of $25 million. The Bengals have placed their non-exclusive franchise tag on wide receiver T. Higgins, which will pay him around $21.8 million for the 2024 season. Colts are technically re-signing, but signing wide receiver Michael Pittman back to Indianapolis on a 3-year, $70 million deal with a max value of $71.5 million with $46 million guaranteed. And Pittman initially received the non-exclusive franchise tag. And in 16 games, he had 109 receptions, averaging 10.6 yards with a total of 1,152 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. Another Josh Allen, the linebacker for the Jaguars, has received the non-exclusive franchise tag in Jacksonville, which will pay him $24 million for the 2024 season. Which makes sense because he averaged about a sack per game with 17 games, 37 tackles, solo tackles, 17.5 sacks, a pass deflection, and 1 interception. The Chiefs re-signed defensive end Chris Jones to a 5-year, $158.75 million contract with over $100 million in guarantees. And the Chargers have restructured linebacker Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa to keep them in Los Angeles. And for Joey Bosa, he originally signed a 5-year, $135 million extension in 2020. And since injuries have limited Bosa over the past few years, what does this move mean for the Chargers? All I can say is only time will tell. We'll see how this move will play out because they probably should have moved on. But who knows? Buccaneers and quarterback Baker Mayfield have agreed to a re-signing deal with a 3-year, $100 million deal that includes $30 million guaranteed, fully guaranteed in year 1, and has a max value of $115 million. Mayfield also receives a $10 million fully guaranteed in year 2, and plus $10 million guaranteed for injury in 2025, which becomes fully vested next season. The Seahawks have re-signed defensive end Leonard Williams to a 3-year, $64.5 million contract, and tight end Noah Fant to a 2-year, $21 million contract. And I like to think it's a decently good move for Seattle with bringing back Noah Fant, considering the fact that he got multiple receptions, 400 yards, 414 yards with 32 receptions, which averages about 13 yards per catch or reception. But he didn't score a touchdown, so it's interesting because they keep the starting tight end after they released Will Disley, who was their backup quarterback, who signed elsewhere. And finally, for re-signings, Eagles re-signed kicker Jake Elliott, who agreed to terms on a 4-year, $24 million extension that includes $14.2 million guaranteed, as Elliott was entering the final year of his contract. And excuse me. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost done with this. Then after that, I'll ask myself a question, and then we'll keep moving forward. So I'm going to go through a rundown of all these new faces, new places. As the Bills signed Washington wide receiver Curtis Samuel to a 3-year, $30 million contract. Dolphins signed former Dallas defensive line Neville Gallimore to a 1-year free agent deal. Tampa, after being released from Tampa Bay, they signed edge rusher Shaq Barrett to a 1-year contract worth up to $9 million. Seattle linebacker Jordan Brooks to a 3-year, $30 million contract. Washington cornerback Kendall Fuller to a 2-year deal worth up to $16.5 million. And former Buffalo safety Jordan Poyer to a 1-year deal after being released. For the Jets, former Giants quarterback Tyrod Taylor to a 2-year deal with up to $18 million. Baltimore offensive lineman John Simpson to a 2-year deal, also worth up to $18 million. Former Dallas Cowboys offensive tackle Tyron Smith, who gets a 1-year deal worth up to $20 million, so a 1-year rental. Ravens signed former Titans running back Derrick Henry to a 2-year, $16 million contract with a max value of $20 million and $9 million guaranteed. Bengals signed former Colts running back Zach Moss to a 2-year, $8 million contract that includes $4.525 million, $25 million in year 1 of the deal. Mike Gesicki, former tight end Mike Gesicki, is leaving New England to the Bengals as well for a 1-year deal worth up to $3.25 million. Only move that Browns have made is signing Saints quarterback Jameis Winston to a 1-year deal that has a base value of $4 million and max value of $8.7 million. Steelers, after being released by the Denver Broncos for an $85 million dead cap hit, Russell Wilson is signing a 1-year, $1.21 million contract, which is a league minimum with the Steelers, as well as signing former Ravens linebacker Patrick Queen to a 3-year, $41 million contract. Texans are signing former I should just say the team that they were on. Vikings edge rusher Danielle Hunter to 2-year, $49 million contract with a max value of $51 million and $48 million fully guaranteed. Colts have signed comeback player of the year Joe Flacco from the Browns on a 1-year deal with up to $8.7 million with $4.5 million guaranteed. The Jaguars have signed wide receiver from the Bills, wide receiver Gabe Davis, which him going to the Jaguars and signing elsewhere explains why Curtis Samuel is signing with Buffalo. Plus, money. It's business. But anyways, Jaguars have signed wide receiver Gabe Davis to a 3-year, $39 million deal with a max value of $50 million. And this, after being released by the San Francisco 49ers, defensive lineman Eric Armstead is also signed with the Jaguars on a 3-year deal with a max value of $51 million. For the Titans, they have signed quarterback Mason Rudolph for a 1-year deal with a base value of $2.87 million and a max value of $3.62 million. Cowboys running back Tony Pollard to a 3-year, $24 million contract. Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos center Lloyd Cushenberry for a 4-year, $50 million contract. And he sets 7 records for centers, including a signing bonus of at least $18 million, a a full guarantee of $26 million and a first-year cash of $20 million. They also signed wide receiver Calvin Ridley to a 4-year, $92 million contract, including $50 million fully guaranteed, and signing Cincinnati Bengal cornerback Chidobe Awuzie to a 3-year, $36 million contract, including $23 million guaranteed. The Chiefs signed wide receiver Marquise Brown from the Hollywood Brown from the Cardinals on a 1-year deal worth $11 million. Raiders got another quarterback to replace Garoppolo, who will be competing for the starting spot against Aiden O'Connell. And in the former Colts and former Jacksonville Jaguars Minshew Mania, Gardner Minshew, to a 2-year, $25 million contract, including $16 million guaranteed, as well as Miami's defensive lineman Christian Wilkins to a 4-year, $110 million contract, including $84.75 guaranteed. The Chargers signed running back Gus Edwards to a 2-year, $6.5 million contract. And seeing I have so much to go, I'm just going to kind of skim through the rest of it, and I'll point out ones that I'll actually talk about because I didn't have to do it for every single person. Giants signed quarterback Drew Lock to a 1-year, $5 million contract. They got Texans running back Devin Singletary to a 3-year, $16.5 million contract. Eagles got a new running back with Saquon Barkley. And speaking of that, before I continue, apparently since Saquon Barkley signed with the Eagles and Kirk Cousins signed with the Falcons, both teams have been looked into for investigation by the NFL for potential tampering. So, yeah. They also released linebacker from the Buccaneers, Devin White, to a 1-year, $7.5 million contract. They have brought back cornerback C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who joined the Detroit Lions on a 1-year deal after leaving the Philadelphia Eagles. Will be making his return on a 3-year deal worth up to $33 million. The Commanders have made a lot of big deals with getting their a mentor, a veteran quarterback in Marcus Mariota for now, to supposedly be a backup for the Commanders on a 1-year, $6 million deal with $10 million with incentives. They signed Austin Eckler, running back from the Chargers, on a 2-year deal worth up to $11.43 million. Tight end Zach Ertz on a 1-year deal worth up to $5 million. Linebacker Bobby Wagner to a 1-year deal worth up to $8.5 million with $6 million in guarantees. And they signed 3 Dallas Cowboy players, 1 on the offensive line, 2 on the defensive line, which makes sense. They were following the Commanders' current head coach, Dan Quinn, who's the former Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator. With Tyler Biadasz, center, 3-year, $30 million contract. Edge rusher Dorrance Armstrong, 3-year deal worth up to $45 million. And edge rusher as well, Dante Fowler, on a free agent deal. The Bears have gotten their running back situation somewhat situated with running back DeAndre Swift on a 3-year, $24 million contract. Got a tight end with Gerald Everett from the Chargers on a 2-year, $12 million deal. And got some secondary help with safety Kevin Byard, former Eagles defensive back, on a 2-year, $15 million deal. The Lions have gotten defensive lineman DJ Reader on a 2-year deal worth up to $25 million, and I believe $9 million guaranteed. For the Packers, since they have released Aaron Jones, they have decided to sign running back from the Raiders, Josh Jacobs, to a 4-year, $48 million deal, which includes $12.5 million signing bonus and a total of $14.8 million year one. They also signed safety Xavier McKinney on a 4-year deal worth $68 million, including $25 million in year one. The Vikings signed former divisional rival running back Aaron Jones to a 1-year, $7 million contract. The Falcons got another receiver with Darnell Mooney from the Chicago Bears and a 3-year, $39 million deal with $26 million fully guaranteed. And they got their quarterback for now, and Kirk Cousins, with a 4-year, $180 million contract, including $50 million signing bonus, $100 million guaranteed, $90 million in 2024 and 2025, and another $10 million in 2026. Panthers upgrade the offensive line, which is good for them, and I'm glad they did so for Bryce Young, with offensive guards Robert Hunt to a 5-year, $100 million contract, and Damian Lewis to a 4-year, $53 million contract. The Cardinals signed offensive tackle Jonah Williams to a 2-year, $30 million contract. Defensive tackle Justin Jones to a 3-year, $30.1 million contract. Cornerback Sean Murphy-Bunting to a 3-year, $25.5 million contract. The Rams signed tight end Colby Parkinson to a 3-year, $22.5 million contract. Offensive guard Jonah Jackson to a 3-year, $51 million deal. And they're bringing back cornerback Darius Williams on a 3-year, $22.5 million deal as he left for 2 seasons to the Jaguars. And finally, before I get into my question that I'll zoom through, the 49ers signed edge rusher Leonard Floyd from the Buffalo Bills on a 2-year deal, $20 million deal worth up to $24 million and $12 million guaranteed in year 1. Now, thoughts? What move surprised me and what move surprised you? So for me, I'm just gonna go through the top and kind of point out. Now, a lot of these moves I'm not surprised by. With Curtis Samuel going to the Bills, not a surprise. They needed to get that upgrade, as I believe Gabe Davis ended up leaving for the Jaguars. So there's that. Plus, you need a good target, which Curtis Samuel is going to make a great target for Josh Allen, besides Dawson Knox and James Cook and such. One move that surprised me, Dolphins getting Neville Gallimore. I'm thinking, dude, interesting that you went there. But it was a bit surprising, and it was a bit surprising, but it wasn't really a surprise. It was kind of surprising to see Shaq Barrett go to the Dolphins, which was a good move for a 1-year deal. But it wasn't surprising, but the fact that it was a divisional rival is what surprised me. But Jordan Poyer going to the Dolphins, leaving after he was released from Buffalo, it surprised me that he left for a divisional rival, which was interesting. Then Tyron Smith walking, not really a surprise there. I mean, we kind of had to. Apparently we couldn't afford to pay him unless we actually made some moves to make cap space, which we're not going to do. And the Ravens signing Derrick Henry. He was one of the front runners to go to Dallas. No, he was one of the front runners to go to the Ravens. So it was a bit surprising and shocking, but not at all. So it's kind of like both sides. It was surprising because I'm thinking he has a home in Dallas. He should have came to Dallas, but they didn't make an offer. So not a shocker there. But it was a bit surprising, and actually, it was a bit surprising, but not really shocking that he went to the Ravens on a good deal, because he was looking for a good deal, and him going to the Ravens makes a lot of sense. And interesting move for Patrick Queen to leave for an AFC North rival in the Steelers. Danielle Hunter going up to what has already been an upgrade. Danielle Hunter going to the Texans was actually surprising to me, but also an awesome move for the Texans because they continue to upgrade their defense with having Will Anderson Jr. getting better, having Derek Stingley Jr., and just simply upgrading both sides of the ball with their offensive line, getting all these receivers, and getting all these players. But yeah, Tony Pollard going to the Titans. I'm not surprised that he walked because we were not planning to pay him. But the fact that he went to the Titans was kind of surprising to me. I'm not going to lie, if I'm being completely honest. Marquise Brown, not too surprising to go to the Chiefs, but it was surprising. Okay, I'm going to stop myself because I'm being redundant. Breathe. So him leaving Arizona, no surprise. But it was a little bit of a surprise for him to go to the Chiefs. But then again, Patrick Mahomes needed another receiver with races of MVS and Kadarius Toney. So, no surprise there. Raiders get their quarterback, which shockingly they signed Gardner Minshew to be their quarterback to be paired with Aiden O'Connell for the starting spot. Gus Edwards going to the Chargers. and Devin Singletary going to the Giants. Makes sense because they both fill much needed holes at the running back position for both teams. Devin White and Gardner Johnson going to the Eagles. Oh, they had a lot of money. And then Austin Eckler, Bobby Wagner, and 3 Cowboys players going to the Commanders is crazy. Kevin Byard, DeAndre Swift going to the Bears. Josh Jacobs was actually a pretty shocking move, in my opinion, to go to the Packers because he went from the Raiders and all of a sudden it's like, so it's going to be Aaron Jones and Josh Jacobs? What a duo! And then Aaron Jones was released after he considered taking a pay cut. And in that move, he went to the Minnesota Vikings, a divisional rival. Kirk Cousins getting a large contract was crazy. And the Panthers, I'm actually glad they did that because their offensive line sucks. Bryce Young had a terrible first season, rookie season. Yeah, that's really about it in terms of that kind of stuff for the NFL. But yeah, a lot to take in.